NTSB wrapping up the third and final day of an investigative hearing into the mid-air collision involving Flight 5342 and an Army helicopter. Dylan Domang and Keith Grant have listened to hours of testimony and looked through thousands of pages of reports, shedding some light into some of the factors that could have caused this crash. They join me now to break down some of the key takeaways from this week.
Well, Mike, on Thursday, the FAA admitted that the air traffic controller should have warned the airplane about the helicopter approaching its flight path, but an alert was never sent out. Instead, the air traffic controller put the responsibility on the helicopter pilots to avoid that collision.
Yeah, but the Army helicopter was flying without ADS-B turned on, which is broadcast their position and altitude to other aircraft in the area, meaning Flight 5342 would have not seen the helicopter on their display. Additionally, the FAA conducted simulation tests that found if the helicopter had specific collision avoidance systems equipped, they would have received a traffic alert 1 minute and 13 seconds before that collision occurred. However, the Army said a traffic alert doesn't exactly mean a crash is imminent, and if flight paths are converging, more alerts need to be sent out.
You know, pilots only look inside every, I think, 9.2 seconds, something to that realm. So it's not reasonable to have a pilot look for a traffic advisory, process that, orient, figure out where they are, then do something about it. That we're talking over 10 seconds, which is not compatible for us, which is why we're fixated on the resolution advisory capability of ACAS XR.
And that advisory just mentioned would actually require the pilot to maneuver quickly to avoid a collision. For years, the NTSB has pushed for ADS-B to be equipped on all aircraft. Today, the FAA finally committed to doing that.
Now, this comes as lawmakers introduced the Rotor Act earlier this week, which would require ADS-B technology on all aircraft. The NTSB is continuing to determine an official cause of this crash. That final report not expected, though, until next year.